Reaction to the Parliament. Let us now take you to the Northern Cape. Our reporter Reginald Witbooi is standing by. Reginald, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for coming through. What are the people of the Northern Cape saying?
Well, good afternoon to you, Palesa. This morning, ahead of the 2019 budget speech, we came to the Solplaatje University and just get the views of students who are studying towards bachelor's degrees in commerce. And now we are back just getting reaction, whether they are happy or not, after what Finance Minister Tito Mboweni delivered or said in his budget speech earlier on. I am now joined by all three of them once again. Good afternoon to you, Mlungisi. This morning you spoke about Eskom that needs to be the main focus in the Finance Minister's budget speech. You also touched on job creation. How do you feel now that you've watched it and heard what the Finance Minister had to say in Parliament?
Well, I'm quite pleased that the Minister has allocated funds for Eskom, to bear it out. But then also, the thing is that they were blaming this on Zuma the past 9 years, and then now the thing is that the old body's out and the new body's in, so I don't understand what the CRO is actually there for, And also, I'm happy that higher education funding has improved, and also that the main problem about it is that, as the Minister of Nalipanda stated, that is that NSFAS students are funded and are in there, but most of these fees must fall. Strikes for this year was mainly on missing middle of the varsity population, which is just if whoever your parents or people who are around you earn more than 350,000, it means that you won't be funded by NSFAS, So if you parents pay like around 400,000, you won't be funded by it, He also touched on the Maths and Science Fund that they'll be creating, I think it's a good thing, it will help maybe in research and development, and also on the fintech, by the fintech startup that want to start with the Reserve Bank government. I think that's good, and it will also create, a high growth potential, as those are new industries and stuff. And also the negative thing was also the fuel tax levy, This means that products will be more expensive, and South Africa right now we are going through a low growth environment, so it means that we'll have to tighten our belts and hopefully keep to what the government gives us.
Thank you so much. I am now joined by another student, Lutando Ngalaka. What's your reaction to what the Finance Minister had to say in Parliament?
I was very happy that he allocated funds towards job creation, but I was disappointed that the amount of jobs that were created weren't really enough compared to the amount of unemployment that is there. He spoke about the incentives for the industries, the amount of unemployment or the jobs that were created, or the amount of unemployment that was decreased with that incentives is only 1.2%, and with in terms of the job fund, the amount of employment that was also decreased is only 0.5%. So you see that these numbers are actually minuscule and do not actually address the amount of urgency or the true problem of unemployment in the country. So that's my take on it there.
Thank you so much. And Veronica, just briefly, your reaction to the speech.
I think there's appreciation that this budget speech was always going to be difficult given the prevailing economic conditions of high unemployment as well as sluggish economic growth, which of course puts pressure on the revenue collection. But the positives that we can take out in terms of the minister putting in place measures to actually reduce expenditure by reducing the public sector wage bill. So that is a positive that we can take from the budget, as well as the fact that the bailout from Eskom that we have of course expected comes with certain conditions this time around. And I think there's also an undertaking by the minister that they're going to do a deep dive into the necessity of the rest of the other SOEs. So that's another positive that we take from the budget speech. The other issue is around the 480 million that the minister has also allocated to the Small Medium Enterprises Development Agency. So that's a positive in creating jobs. And another positive I would also take is the declaration by the minister again to do something about corruption, as well as the support and that they will grant or give to local and provincial governments to capacitate them for them to become more efficient and effective. In terms of the negatives, it speaks to the current fiscal deficit. That is definitely a concern, given the fact that it's growing year to year, year on year, and also the other issue around the government debt to the GDP that sits at 60%. So that's another negative that I think that probably we need to deal with decisively going forward.
Thank you so much. Well, Palesa, there you have it from our future economists and even advisors, maybe, who know where they will be ending up, giving us their different views or reactions, rather, on what the Finance Minister, Tito Mboweni, had to say in Parliament earlier on. More positives, I think, than the negatives from their views here in Kimberley. Palesa.
All right, many thanks there to our reporter Reginald Witbooi, live from Kimberley in the Northern Cape, of course, talking to some residents there, giving reaction to the minister's budget, really focusing on higher education. And you may recall that the minister has indicated that over the medium term, government will spend about 111.2 billion rand to ensure that the 2.8 million deserving students from universities and TVET colleges around the country obtain their qualifications.